excited to see you guys. This is my moderation concert. My name is Nate Padgett. I know almost all of you. I know all of you by name. Me too. So I'm presenting today. I'm moderating into music and Italian studies, as most of you know. And for that presentation, for the concert, I'm doing a presentation of two sort of translations that I've done. The first one is a more traditional sort of linguistic Italian to English, and the second one is a sort of one form of music to another, kind of. I'll explain what that means. But both of them are by the same guy. Alberto Savinio was a musician, painter, writer, born in 1891 in Athens. He attended the Conservatory of Athens and lived in Paris, lived in Milan, and was the brother of Giorgio de Chirico, his more famous brother, who is still pretty famous in Italy today, and the rest of the world. I'm sure you would all recognize some of his works. Alberto Savinio was a member of the metaphysical school, which kind of the textbook definition started in Ferrara during World War I, in a field hospital. Alberto Savinio, Giorgio de Chirico, and Carlo Carrà, three metaphysical artists. And the sort of textbook definition of metaphysics I don't fully grasp. And it's kind of hard to explain, but it's because I don't understand it. But it's a sort of anything, like, it's kind of anything to do with things that aren't real or tangible themselves. And he wrote about it a lot, and he kind of invented a whole movement with his brother and some of his friends out of embracing that and embracing the metaphysical idea. And the translation that I did was an essay he wrote, published in 1914, Les Drames et la Musique, Music and Drama and Music, published in French and Italian. I translated the Italian. It's the same, both of them. But he wrote this piece, and the whole thing is kind of what we should do with music going forward as inevitably art becomes metaphysical and enters into the metaphysical realm. And more is being discovered and created and painted and written, poetry and all this stuff that's like metaphysics. And music should follow suit because it's not yet, music and drama. I have a couple quotes here. He writes in this essay about his belief that the world is prepared for a spiritual liberation. Sort of the whole ethos of art in the world is ready to be expanded upon in a way that it never has been before. He says, "We have been brought in such a way to think not only for the sake of mental exertion, but also for corporeal necessity. We should feel the thoughts." So there's a sort of the idea, the ideological or philosophical or artistic inspiration exists in and through us and in and through everything, and it's not us, but it should be, kind of. He writes about music, that music is an exceptional art which does not tolerate style and exists only to be used for that which it is. We degrade it if we want to make it express the human dramatic and psychological because it has a drama and a psychology intrinsically of its own. Music exists and it is sentient and it is in the world around us. And somehow the metaphysical idea is our job. It's our job to capture it and to let it give us the music that already exists. And if we are making music, he hated Impressionism. If we're making music inspired by things, that's just the last possible thing you want to do. He hated, in the essay he writes, there's some quote that's like, there are certain French composers who are making music of impressions. And it's a clear jab at, Debussy and Ravel. And so that brings us to album 1914. You'll see in your programs that this concert is selections from his musical series, sort of a compilation of 14 songs that he wrote in 1914, just before publishing Le Drame et la Musique, which all kind of were compiled as his last sort of soiree into music before swearing off music altogether as an incomplete art, because it's so difficult to be truly metaphysical with music that you might as well just give up altogether. And he took up painting. The painting on the cover of your guys' programs is by him. And he took up writing, poetry, and novels. But album 1914, it was originally, all of 14 pieces were for, the first 13 were for piano and soprano and baritone. The 14th was for soprano, bassoon, and celeste, which is kind of a whole different field and part of why it will not be performed tonight. I have taken the original pieces and I have orchestrated them, I've translated them in a way for this ensemble. The vocal parts are almost identical to the originals, but the piano part has been expanded into violin, cello, piano, clarinet, and flute, which is a Pierrot ensemble, which is a specific quintet invented by Schoenberg in the 1930s, 40s for a specific piece called Pierrot Lunaire, which was a song cycle, really strange. The quintet was designed by him in order to be intentionally unbalanced. And the instruments are kind of 3 different sections, but all of them are a little bit too small to be sections of their own. And so it sounds like 3 kind of contrasting voices, contrasted again with the 4th, which is the vocalists. And so that's what you're here to see. That's what I've been working on for the last couple months. It'll be a pretty exciting ride, I think, for you all to experience. It's somewhat strange musically, but I hope you all enjoy it. I don't personally know if the metaphysical idea was captured in this music. It seems like it's pretty, just compared to contemporary, like free music or avant-garde music, it's pretty conservative. But for 1914, it was a real hit, a real, even more kind of crazy than Stravinsky at times. There are stories that Alberto Savinio would perform and the keyboard would have his blood on it, mostly because of many, many glissandos, which Rowan will hopefully do a good job of. No, he's been doing wonderfully, and you'll all see that as well. Please enjoy. It'll sound, if you're hearing sounds almost childlike, that's the point. A big part of metaphysics was memory. You're trying to capture the metaphysical idea through memory and through sort of things. My understanding is that things that have happened already are more true. And they're in your memory, and yet they're also your own experience. And so the sort of thought of your memory is as close as we can get to fusing like personal experience and personal life and mental sort of activity, mental and emotional activity. You'll hear the alphabet, you'll hear a sort of like a sort of taunting sound, and you'll have a good time. And so this is it. Please enjoy, and thank you all for coming again.